Welcome to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast, your weekly news roundup of hunting, fishing, trapping, and conservation stories from around the Gem State. Hosted by Fish and Game's Public Information Specialist, Connor J. Lease.
And welcome back to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast. This week we're talking about a bear attack in Fremont County, how to handle firearms safely, and whether you're successful or not, why you still need to stop at check stations. First, EHD has been hogging the headlines lately, specifically in parts of the Clearwater region. So here's a deep dive into the EHD status and how it may or may not affect your fall. As of October 6, biologists have received ongoing reports of just under 1,000 white-tailed deer mortalities in the Clearwater region suspected to be caused by EHD. About 72% of these reports have come from Units 8 and 8A, and approximately 18% have come from Units 11A and 14. In other units, only a handful of suspected cases have been reported. Epizootic hemorrhagic disease is not a threat to humans or livestock, but it can be alarming to hunters and landowners who encounter sick or dead deer. Fish and Game has received many questions about the outbreak, what it means for hunting this year, and what to expect for the future of white-tailed deer populations in the region. Estimating the actual number of deer lost during an EHD outbreak is extremely difficult. However, based on the number of reports, the 2025 outbreak appears similar in severity to the 2021 event, though centered in a different part of the region. Back in 2021, cases were concentrated in Unit 11A near Kamei and Kuski, as well as in Units 8A, 10A, 15, and 16 at lower elevations extending downstream towards Orofino and up the South Fork of the Clearwater. In contrast, most reports in 2025 have come from farther north, primarily in Units 8 and 8A, with the area around Deary being the hardest areas hit. Despite the ongoing outbreak, Fish and Game has not recommended altering current deer seasons. White-tailed deer populations in the Clearwater region remain strong overall, and while EHD has caused localized losses, deer numbers across much of the region remain robust and well above conservation concern. Outbreaks of EHD are often most severe in areas where deer are most concentrated. As deer densities increase, herds become more susceptible to larger die-offs, as seen during the 2021 outbreak centered in Kamei, and again in this current outbreak centered near Deary. Prior to this year's event, Units 8 and 8A supported some of the highest white-tailed deer densities in the Clearwater region. Hunters should be aware that in some areas they may encounter fewer deer than in past years. These localized declines can be disappointing, but other parts of the region have seen little or no impact from EHD, particularly at higher elevations, and these will continue to provide good hunting opportunity. After the severe outbreaks of 2003 and then in 2021, hunters did not see a drop in harvest success, and white-tailed deer populations are recovering well since 2021, though not back to previous levels. While EHD outbreaks can cause sudden and visible losses in localized areas, white-tailed deer populations are well adapted to recover from these events. Whitetails have a high reproductive capacity, with does in the Clearwater region often producing twins. This allows populations to rebound relatively quickly after a disease outbreak just like this one. Based on experience with past outbreaks in Idaho and neighboring states, recovery typically occurs within 3 to 5 years, depending on habitat conditions and winter survival. Our staff will continue to closely monitor harvest results and field observations this fall. Information collected from hunters, check stations, and landowners will help us evaluate the impact of the outbreak and ensure future seasons remain sustainable. So stay tuned, keep checking back to our website for updates on this situation if you're planning on hunting in the Clearwater. You can also hit the link below to read Jen Bruns' full press release. All right, here's a firearm safety article for you aimed at keeping you and your buddies safe in the woods this fall. Statistics from the National Shooting Sports Foundation show that hunting with firearms is actually one of the safest recreational activities in the country. That's not to say that accidents can't happen, and practicing safe firearm handling can greatly reduce the risk. In recent years, about 280,000 people annually hunted in Idaho. Even with that many people in the field, there are typically very few, if any, hunting accidents involving firearms in Idaho. Here's Brenda Beckley, Fish and Game's Hunter Education Administrator.
There are very few hunting accidents, but we would prefer no accidents. In hunter education classes, we teach practicing safe firearm handling at all times. We're teaching the firearm rules, and we focus on the most common accidents. These include keeping the firearm unloaded until ready to use it, never trust the safety, and practicing muzzle control.
In the hopes of avoiding firearm accidents, whether hunting or target shooting, Fish and Game offers these following guidelines. Number 1, treat every firearm as if it were loaded. When another person hands you a firearm, assume it is loaded even if you were told it is not. Ask anyone handing you a firearm to open the action before they hand it to you. Number 2, always control the muzzle of your firearm. As long as the muzzle is pointed in a safe direction, it is unlikely someone will get hurt, even if the firearm discharges unexpectedly. A safety is a mechanical device which can fail, so there is no instance where you can disregard the muzzle's direction simply because the safety is on. Number 3, never touch the trigger until you are ready to shoot. Keep your fingers away from the trigger while unloading or loading. Never pull the trigger on any firearm with the safety on or anywhere in between safe and fire. Again, the gun safety serves as a supplement to proper gun handling, but does not serve as a substitute for common sense. Number 4, never point a firearm at anything you do not intend to shoot. Carry and use binos to check out the hillside and never look through your scope at something you can't identify. Number 5, be certain of your target and what is beyond it. A safe hunter makes certain that movement or sound is a game animal that is in season before pointing the muzzle at it. Prior to taking a shot, a hunter must check the background for other people, livestock, buildings, equipment, or roads to make sure there is a safe backstop. Number 6, mistaking a person for game is one of the most common causes of hunting accidents, which can be serious or even fatal. One way to make sure every other person in the field can clearly identify you is by wearing hunter orange. While a safety measure recommended for those on both sides of the gun, Idaho is one of the few states where hunter orange is not required, except for hunters on wildlife management areas where pheasants are stalked during the pheasant season. A hunter orange hat does meet these requirements. Number 7, be sure the barrel is clear of obstructions before shooting. Make sure to check your barrel often. Even a small obstruction in the bore can cause the barrel to bulge or, even worse, explode. The same thing can happen by placing a smaller gauge or caliber cartridge into a gun, such as a 20 gauge shell in a 12 gauge shotgun. This can result in the smaller cartridge acting as an obstruction when a cartridge of proper size is fired. Always pay close attention to each cartridge you insert into your firearm and only carry the correct ammunition for the gun you're carrying. Number 8, never cross a fence, climb a tree, or do anything potentially hazardous with a loaded gun. There will be times when common sense and the basic rules of firearm safety will require you to unload your gun for maximum safety. Never pull or push a loaded firearm towards yourself or another person. Number 9, store firearms and ammunition separately. While most gun owners consider this most of the year, many leave guns and ammunition in their vehicles during the hunting season. Firearms should be unloaded for safety when in the vehicle, and ammunition should always remain inaccessible to children. Number 10, last but not least, alcohol and guns do not mix. If there is alcohol in your hunting camp, make certain all firearms are put away before the alcohol comes out. Taking out old granddad's 70-year-old woodstock rifle to show your buddies after you've had a few beers can lead to a tragic mistake. So don't be timid when it comes to gun safety. Don't hesitate to let your hunting partners know when you think they're putting themselves or others at risk. After all, gun safety starts with you. That's all I got on that. Time to talk about a recent bear attack up in Fremont County. A hiker was injured in a bear attack near Squirrel Creek in Fremont County on Tuesday afternoon, September 30th. The hiker, an adult male, was traveling alone on the south rim of Squirrel Creek when a bear charged him through the thick timber from a short distance away. The bear bit the man as it ran past him and continued on into the forest. Despite his injuries, the man was able to hike out on his own to seek medical attention. Our staff have posted signs in the area advising visitors of bear activity. The bear's behavior was likely defensive and caused by the surprise close encounter. Due to the nature of this encounter, no further management actions are planned at this time. All right, moving on to check stations. Whether you shoot a big game animal this fall or not, hunters and anglers must stop at check stations. Our goal here is to get information and learn what's happening in the field, and also answer questions, collect samples for CWD, and then quickly get folks back on their way. Check stations are an opportunity for us to talk to thousands of hunters and see thousands of harvested animals. Now note here, anglers and trappers also have to stop at check stations if coming from or going to those activities. If you didn't harvest any game, we'll just ask you some questions and then boom, you're done. But remember, you still have to stop, and you can be cited for bypassing a check station. Now, if you did harvest something, we'll want to take a gander at the animal, as well as your license and your tag. In the interest of saving you and everyone else's time, keep your animal in an easily accessible spot. It only takes a few minutes to collect all the needed data. Most check stations serve as management stations where the main goal is to collect data from harvested animals. You will typically see these in the same places year after year. You may also see an enforcement check station, which are unannounced and in different locations. Speaking of enforcement, a couple of common violations that you can avoid. Year after year, Fish and Game staff working check stations see repeated mistakes, which may result in a reminder, a written warning, or possibly even a citation. Hunters can avoid that situation by brushing up on these common violations. Number one, failure to properly validate your tag. You got to make sure that the notches for the correct day and month are fully removed from your tag immediately after you harvest the animal. Again, completely notch the tag. A slice through the day and the date aren't going to cut it. If the animal is intact, the tag can be placed on the antlers. But if it's already been quartered, the tag must be attached to the largest portion of the meat, along with evidence of sex, until it is processed and reaches the place of final storage or consumption. Now, hunters, take note here, if you're in a CWD management zone, there are rules for whole carcasses, so the tag would need to be placed on the largest portion of the meat. Number two, if you fail to have a proxy statement. One is issued with your tag, and if you're transporting game for someone else, you must have a proxy statement. Proxy statements are also available on page 101 in the 2025 Big Game Seasons and Rules booklet, along with other important rules. Another common violation is maintaining proof of species. In seasons restricted to mule deer or white-tailed deer only, proof of species must remain naturally attached. If you remove the head, you must leave the fully haired tail attached. Last but not least, failure to keep evidence of sex. We talk about this one a lot. Even in either sex hunts, the head or other evidence of sex needs to be naturally attached to the carcass until you get it home. In hunts with antler point restrictions, the antlers must accompany the carcass. For more information on this about preserving evidence of sex, see page 101 of the 2025 Big Game Seasons and Rules booklet. All right, that's it for major stories this week. Let's hit the rapid fire bulletin. Pheasant season opens October 11th in North Idaho and October 18th in South and East Idaho. You can see area maps for opening dates on pages 11 and 12 of the Idaho Upland Game, Turkey, and Fur Bear Seasons and Rules booklet. Fish and Game will be stocking nearly 29,000 pheasants this year at locations in every region of the state. Hunters can see a full list of where and when pheasants will be released statewide on the Pheasant Stocking Program webpage. With the irrigation season winding down and efforts to keep fish out of ditches, local irrigators who divert water from rivers and streams in Idaho's salmon region are asked to call Idaho Fish and Game's Fish Screen program at 208-756-6022 several days before shutting off your water for the season. Irrigators are also asked to ramp down your flows over several days before turning the ditches completely off. The gradual decrease in flow stimulates fish to migrate out of the irrigation system. Fish and Game's anadromous screen program currently operates and maintains over 281 fish screens, which are critical to helping rebuild Idaho's salmon and steelhead runs. And guess what? These efforts would not be possible without the support of local irrigators, landowners, and area communities. So thank you. Fish and Game will be temporarily closing all public access to the Edson Fichter Nature Area in Pocatello for necessary repairs starting Tuesday, October 7th. Public access is expected to resume the afternoon or evening of the 7th, depending on construction progress. So please, for your safety, respect the hard-working contractors and obey the closure during this time. An announcement will be posted as soon as the improvements are done. So thank you for your patience as we tackle these necessary repairs. For any questions, please contact the Southeast Regional Office at 208-232-4703. That's all the news we have for this week, folks. Thanks for putting an ear to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast. If there's something on your mind, or if you got a question related to Fish and Game matters, feel free to drop us a line at podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Again, that's podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you next week.